Hey, what's up, everybody? Hey, we're hanging with Mark and Dougie, man. It's another week, man. A lot of great topics. Hey, you're looking pretty stout there, Doug. You working out, man? Looks like you got something.
Yeah, I've been doing some trap lifts. Yeah, I've been doing some I don't know. You know, when you grab the dumbbells, like I don't know.
Looks like you rocked about 50 push-ups, man. Hey, man, a little birdie told me that you rocked it in Vegas, man.
Yeah, man. World Series of Comedy made it to the top. What was that 12? Something like that. Yeah, top 12 people, and yeah, it was fun, man. Got to do a lot of shows out here in Vegas, which is always great. Performing in Vegas, and
did you donate any funds to the casinos?
Oh, yeah. Blackjack, man. I almost strangled a few blackjack. Nothing worse than when you're playing blackjack and they change the dealer. You're doing pretty good, and then the first hand the dealer gets a 21. You're like, son of a.
And then the next guy, you split whatever you have to split eights, which you hate splitting eights but you have to because it's 16. Yeah. And then the idiot's got like a 17 next to you, and he's like, yeah, I'm gonna look for that 3, that magical 3, you know. And you're like, come on, just stop.
Yeah, there was some edification being done at that poker table, like, you know, people like sitting there hitting on 14 when the dealer's got a 6. You're like, you fucking idiot. Like, you know, like, let this play out, man. Let this play out, you know.
I got to actually tell you a funny, quick story. I mean, I went to play in the World Series of Poker. I actually played in the World Series of Poker. But a year after that, I was at the Harris for Mr. Brady's Super Bowl. I went to Mr. Brady's Super Bowl when he played the Rams, when he beat Kurt Warner and the Rams. It was a great Super Bowl. So I'm at the blackjack table, and I'm winning, and that's a very rare occasion. And I'm not a bad player, but just unlucky. And all of a sudden, the pit boss comes up to me, goes, excuse me, sir, this table was reserved. You can't sit here. And I'm like, yeah, that's not going to happen. I'm up right now, like $3,000. I'm not getting up. And he's like, yeah, but it was reserved. You shouldn't have sat here in the first place. I'm like, well, that's your problem. I sat here. Yeah. I look back. It's Joe Montana, his agent Bertolini, and his wife. And he sees me. He goes, can I join him? I'm like, yeah, I don't care. It's Joe Montana. Yeah, you can join me, you know? So he sits down next to me. Super nice guy, by the way. All 3 of them were really, really nice. I don't want to really talk to him for 2 reasons. One reason, because he's playing cards. And, you know, sometimes you want to be left alone. And second reason, I'm winning. I just want to be left alone, you know?
Yeah,
so he's talking
the system.
Exactly. So he's talking to me. He's like, hey, how you doing? Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, I'm doing good.
Everybody's like, shut the fuck up, Joe Montana. I got to fucking stop winning there. Shut the fuck up. Fuck who you are.
So it gets funny, man. So I couldn't believe it. It's a minimum hand of $50. Not a lot. He's playing exactly 50. I normally play 100, 150, 200. He's playing 50 a hand. He gets a hand that he has to double down on. And he's like, hit me. I'm like, whoa. I'm like, Joe, come on, Joe. You got to double down. He goes, yeah.
Call an audible, Joe. Call an audible.
Exactly. But I told him, I said, you have to double down on this hand. And he goes, well, I said, I'll do it for you. So I put my chips on his thing to Joe Montana, and we win. So I get my chips from him, and I throw him like a $10 chip. He's like, yeah, I'm good, man. So everybody's laughing, everybody, you know? So here's where it gets even funnier. So now he's having a little bit of small talk with me. He feels comfortable with me. So he's like, what are you down here for? I said, I'm down here to watch the Super Bowl. He goes, you ever been to one? I said, yeah, I've been to 4 or 5. I said, what about you? You ever been to a Super Bowl? He goes, yeah, I've been to 4 or 5 also, you know. What a super guy, man. We had a lot of fun. We laughed, man. I ended up winning money. It was actually a good trip. And Brady won the Super Bowl, his first one. So
did you have good seats when you went to the Super Bowl, Joe? Did you have good seats? I got good seats.
Yeah, good seats. My seats were okay. I was happy just to be there, man. Awesome. I had a friend of mine that his girlfriend worked for the NFL, so we got face value tickets. And I've been to several, but that was pretty good. That was a good trip. I won in Vegas. I won it in on the Super Bowl game, so it was a lot of fun.
Win-win.
So talking about sports and legends and all the greatness, Shaq, who happens to be, I think, one of my favorite players. I mean, for me, it's Brady.
Shaq. I love Shaq.
Right. So my 3 favorite plays, I think. I mean, I love Brady the best, and I love Tebow for what he does outside the sport. He's just a great guy. And Shaq the same way, man. Not only is he a top 3 player of his position, I believe, one of the greatest human beings you'll ever meet, dude. He does so many great things for so many people. And he came out, man. He came out. Good kudos.
He's gay?
No, he's not. Hey, if he's gay, I feel bad for his boyfriend.
Oh, my God.
Hey, you don't want to be gay with Shaq. That's the last guy you want to be. Pee Wee Herman, maybe. But not Shaq, man.
Fucking imagine bringing him home. Dad, this is my new boyfriend, Shaquille O'Neal.
Hey, you'll be in a wheelchair within a week. Hey, but Shaq, he came out and he said that he doesn't want to be a celebrity anymore. He goes, celebrities are assholes. All they are is opinionated. They just run their mouths. He goes, I do not want to be a celebrity anymore. He goes, I'm Shaq. He goes, I'm a human being like everybody else. I want to help people out. I don't want to be a celebrity anymore. Which is not going to happen. He's a celebrity, but the fact that he said that is just an amazing thing, man. I like the guy more and more each day, you know?
Well, he's an honorary sheriff, right? He wants to be a police officer. He comes from that. Whereas his father a law enforcement officer? Military. So he understands, discipline and dedication and commitment and all that stuff. How can you not like Shaq? Like I was a Miami Heat season ticket holder when he became on the team, and even all the way through LeBron. And, Shaq never complained about cramps. Shaq never flopped. You never saw Shaq flop.
No.
You know what I mean?
No. And you know what? He played the game right. He always played with a smile on his face. He was a team player, man. And now all his money, he helps people out. And I've seen a video, like he was in a jewelry store, and there was like a younger guy, a white guy, looked like kind of like a guy, that's just a random guy, didn't have a lot of money. He was buying a ring. It was on Facebook, and he was buying a ring, and Shaq's like, "Hey, you getting married?" He goes, "Yeah." And he goes, "Well, how come you making payments on it?" He goes, "Well, I only make $40,000 a year, and I got to make payments." Shaq goes, "Not no more. You do." He pulled out his American Express black card, and he goes, "All you got to do now is worry about the wedding." He goes, "I got everything else." And and I hear stories about him buying sneakers and he's done a lot of things for a lot of people, and that's a great thing.
I love Shaq. I love Shaq. I love. It's terrible.
Oh, it's Barkley. I like Barkley for other reasons. I like Barkley because he speaks his mind.
Yeah, he doesn't mind. He doesn't follow. He doesn't follow. He doesn't follow. He does what he wants to do, man.
No, and he took a lot of flack from a lot of people. Like Kenny Anderson, I remember. Kenny, the other guy that's on the show, I think it's Kenny Anderson. Kenny Smith. I remember when they were talking about the whole Floyd thing and the police department thing, and Barkley goes, "Listen, man. The guy broke the law. He's a criminal. He shouldn't have died, but you got to look at both sides of the story." And Kenny Smith got so mad, and he walked off the set. And Barkley's like, "Listen, man." He goes, "Okay, he shouldn't have died, but he was also a criminal. There's other people that pass away that we don't worry about." I love Barkley for other reasons, man. Barkley has a good head on his shoulders, believe it or not. He sounds dumb, but he's not a dumb guy.
A horrible golf swing, but a good head on his shoulders.
He has the worst golf swing there is, man. Yeah, there's nothing you could do with that. But they're both very entertaining, man. Both
absolutely.
So I'm pretty pumped up, man. I don't watch football as much as I do, but I do watch my boyfriend Brady. We know that. I have to watch my boyfriend at all times. And this week he plays against the fraud, Bill Belichick. I call him the fraud. My boy Eric's like, "No, it's the coach." No, it's not the coach. He sucks. He sucked before Brady. He sucked after Brady. He sucked during Brady when Brady got hurt. He's not a great coach, but Brady is the real deal. And now I want to see the animosity between both of them, because I think Belichick has some issues with Brady's success. I really do, because it diminishes some of Belichick's success. Right. So we'll see. I mean, the tickets aren't cheap. I'd love to go to the game, but they're not cheap. I mean, I heard tickets are starting at like $600 a seat, and they're going as high as like $20,000 a seat. That's like Super Bowl prices. But this is like, yeah. Well, everybody feels that this is a big match because of the Brady Belichick era. A lot of people feel like the way I feel, that Brady's the reason why. We'll see this week. The Bucs have a pretty bad defense, but the secondary. But there's no excuses. We'll see what happens.
No, I believe I thought you and I were talking pre-show that you were going to put all your money on the Bucs and Brady. In this game.
I am actually I'm going to go into my mattress. I think I have a couple dollars under my mattress. There's some money in an old shoe in my closet. There's a couple dollars in an old shoe. I'm actually going to probably put the biggest bet I've ever put in on this week, man. I really feel, first of all, Brady has only lost 2 games in a row 5 times in his career. So that's in itself is going to be a hard thing for him to lose 2 in a row. And I think after he loses a game, he's that much sharper. And getting a couple players back, and they signed Richard Sherman. I'm not so sure an 80-year-old Richard Sherman at safety is going to work. But we'll see. It's better than what they have now. So we'll see. Just the name might scare them a little bit. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. You can always add that $10 that you didn't give to Joe Montana. It's like, I got that chip still. Maybe it'll be good luck.
Now, Montana's a good dude. So Shaq. And listen, we'll see what Brady does, man. I mean, I hope, like I said, man, I hope that he takes Belichick down. I'm not a big fan of Belichick.
Do you know the point spread? Do you know who's favored in the game?
I believe the point spread is 5.5, and it's in New England. But, New England has got a good defense.
But you're saying New England's favored to win.
New England's favored to win, and it's at home.
And so you're giving Tom Brady 5.5 points?
Tom Brady has to give up 5.5. Tom Brady is the favorite.
Well, so the Bucs are favored to win by 5.5.
By 5.5. Yeah, I don't think
interesting. That's an interesting.
I don't think it matters. I think it's going to be a blowout. My final score. Listen, I'm giving you the score right now: 42-21. Book it.
42-21.
Hey, did you see? Talking about it, did you? And I know you're a soccer player. Did you see that field goal?
Which one?
66 yards. It's the NFL record. He kicked what's his name? Tucker? Justin Tucker kicked a 66-yard field goal. 66 yards.
Does he have half a foot? Does he have one of those stumps in his foot?
Dempsey it was 61. He kicked it 5 yards further.
Yeah.
And that's amazing. Like, that's never happened before.
Who was that team? Who kicked it? Who was the field goal kicker?
It was Baltimore Ravens. We're playing the Lions. Now, shitty it has to be a Lions fan. Like, oh, we're finally going to win a game. They have to kick it 66 yards and boom. And it's funny. It hit the lower post and bounced over.
Oh.
It was one of the greatest achievements I've ever seen. A 66-yard. Think about how far that is. It's almost 200 feet. That's amazing.
Really? It is.
Yeah. It was all over the news. It was a big deal. It was some exciting stuff happened. That was a pretty exciting game. And then the college games again were saying, fuck Joe Biden. So it was funny because Rob Schneider, he's a comedian with SNL. He's a pretty funny guy. You probably know. You've probably done things with him.
I've opened for him at the Improv at Hard Rock.
I love him, man. But he's saying they asked him if he likes football. He goes, no. He goes, I do watch college. They go, really? Okay. He goes, yeah, I like when they scream, fuck Joe Biden. He watches the first 20 minutes and he shuts it off. I guess he's a conservative too. I guess he's just a fan of the country, And, speaking of that numbnut Joe Biden, a lot of things are happening right now. A lot of people are coming out and generals, like important people are coming out and are just saying that they told him so or they told him not to do something. And he said, no, we're doing it. So,
yeah, I mean, nothing better in these hearings to show the inability of this leader, so-called leader. And, it's funny how you watch these generals when they talk, they don't want to say it. And a great job by some of these Republican congressmen who are probably putting the feet to the fire, you know what I mean? And Biden's a liar. Even Penn Psaki, when you watch her do her reports now, she's like, well, let's not take this out of context. I love when they say that, oh, you're taking it out of context. No, you idiot. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I was to say, and when are they going to ask him a real question? When are they going to ask him a real question where he can incriminate himself? They refused to. Trump, forget about it. They asked him everything. Biden, what kind of ice cream are you eating? I mean, no one wants to ask a real question. I mean, we're talking about some serious stuff happening. Serious stuff. I mean, if this was the other way around, forget about it. I mean, they wanted to impeach Trump over everything. They don't want to impeach this guy with some serious shit. I mean, serious shit. Yeah.
And like I said, if he keeps doing what he's doing, just leaves a red wave potential for 2022.
I hope.
Listen, a lot of people, like you said, there's a lot of people that are like, they can't even say, like, you don't see, the only thing you see Biden people on Facebook or social media doing is defending what other people are attacking him for. Yeah. And, it's like, you know what I'm saying? And I'm at this no more political thing on my Facebook. I've kind of taken a break from it. But you know what? Because I don't need to. Like, if you don't see this nonsense that's happening, like Mayorkas, the guy who's in charge of immigration, what a putz. I mean, this guy is completely. You should have a traffic cone in this guy's position in the administration. Because he's like,
they're living in now.
He's always like this. He's always like this. Well,
where'd they find these people? Where'd they find them? All these people. They don't have a good person in their administration.
No, and if he resigns, if his general, who's the Secretary of Defense, if he, I think, or his chief staff, if he has to have him resign, is he going to find another minority just to fill the spot so he can pander to the people? I mean, or is he going to find somebody who's really the best person of interest that could help us protect this country? What comes first?
Well, the only thing I'm worried about, like you said, we were talking about the up and coming elections. If they're fair, I'm going to tell you it'll be a landslide. Because there's a reason why Biden's approaching the 20s. He's at 31%. No president has, I think, ever been under 37%. So he's a lot behind most presidents. And you're talking about a liberal president. I mean, a president that liberals voted in. They'll, like I said, Charles Manson's at 28%. So he's only 3% off. It is what it is, man. And we'll see what happens. I'm hoping that everybody comes out, and I'm hoping that the mail-in vote's handled a little differently this time. And maybe there's more people watching the voting process. And if it's fair, it will be a landslide. I promise you that.
Yeah, we'll see.
And
And if something really, I'll tell you something, the next election, if something happens again, January 6th will be a walk in the park because I think people will really explode. And don't get mad at me. I'm just telling you that if you ruffle the feathers,
Yeah.
if the hoop, you
People
get all
have
the
had
hoop, get all the
people-
hoople heads excited, then something's going to happen.
people have had enough. I mean, COVID was handled wrong. It's still being handled wrong, and everybody talk about how Trump handled it wrong. This guy doesn't know what to do, and he's
And let me say this too, because as everybody was criticizing Trump during that time, because that's what they wanted to do. I'm going to be as fair to say to Biden, you're dealing with a pandemic, you're dealing with a crisis situation. So you give room for people to try to do their best to make mistakes. I'm not going to be quick to judge anybody.
exactly.
But when that fucking clown gets on there and says, "I got a plan for this thing, it's going to be vanquished and this and that," no, it's not. And you're realizing that it's not that easy. You're realizing that you just can't say things. You may want to just keep things a little bit optimistic to keep your people somewhat happy and somewhat, not as overwhelmed, concerned. And, you want to keep people a certain way and then try to deal with it. You know what I mean?
I don't think we've ever had anything in the history since I've been alive that people are more divided than this. I mean, it's exactly 50-50. I mean, it's exactly 50-50. 50% of people don't want to get a shot. 50% of people say you have to get a shot. I've never seen something where people are so equally against something or for something, either or, and it's because nobody knows. And that's the problem. And people that pretend they know don't know because nobody knows.
Even the experts are finding out. And, let me look at Fauci, that moron. I mean, at this point, this, don't do that, do this. I mean, enough of this shit already. Make your own decisions. Like you said, make your own decisions. Either way.
You have to make your own decisions.
What else we got? I don't want to talk politics anyway.
Let's not talk politics, man. Let's get into something else, man. Hey, listen, man, if you guys decide you want to, take pills and do certain things right now, be careful, man, because a lot of fentanyl is getting in a lot of stuff right now, man. Fentanyl is the flavor of the month. And there's so much here they're putting in everything. I think they have a avocado ice cream that has fentanyl in it. I mean, it's like very, very popular right now, the fentanyl drug. So you guys that like to party a little bit, just be careful out there.
Well, it's all based on the drug wars and the cartels in Mexico. That's what's happening. They're fighting, and that's why there's a lot of fentanyl use, and they're getting it out there. So, hey, you know what? I mean, I don't want to be a purist, but I will be a bit Darwinian here. Whether it's the pandemic or whether it's drug usages and vices, it's a thinning of the herd. Whether it's done on purpose or whether it's not. Nowadays, you got to be if you're going to be out partying and doing shit, you're going to be taking chances. Just like if you're going to commit a crime, you're taking a chance of getting fucked up, either by a cop or somebody else. So if you're going to do drugs, guess what? You're actually might as well put a few bullets in a revolver, and have a fun game of it, and, do a reenactment of the deer hunter.
If you live a good, clean life, not saying I've lived the best life in the world. I'm not Snow White, but if you live a good, clean life, okay, everybody's laughing in this. What the hell's everybody's laughing at my office?
Is he preaching? Is he fucking preaching?
Hey, okay. If you live stop everybody. If you live a good, clean life, and you listen to law, your law-abiding system, which I am that definitely, and you respect the law and you respect a lot of things, you'll live to see a higher age. I mean, it's like, you reap what you sow, I think is the saying.
Own up, man. Just own up, everybody. Just own up. Don't complain if you're doing drugs and all kinds of shit and bad things befall you. Hey, everybody makes their own bed, man. Talking
about making mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes. Mr. Hinckley made a mistake, I believe, about 40-something years ago, and he did his time, man. They said, you know what? You did your time. So what? You tried to assassinate the greatest living president, Well, he's not living now, but at the time. Yeah. And, let's let him go. Let's let him go. The guy that had an ounce of weed in 1983, he's still in prison, because that was the strict drug laws and the drug law in 1983. But John Hinckley Jr., who took a shot and killed Brady many years later, they said that's the reason why he died, and hit our president. He's getting out of prison. So, we talked about this before. I don't believe in reform like you believe in reform. You can be reformed on certain things, If you eat too many Smarty Pants candies, you maybe can be reformed of that. But when you take a shot at a president, there's no reform for me. I'd say if you touch a child, you murder, there's certain things, there's no reform. There's a chair they put you in and they put electricity on you and you go away. That's the reform. Maybe in your next lifetime, God will give you a second chance. But I don't believe I had a person that was kind of religious, and he's, Mark, have you found Jesus? Is he around here somewhere?
Well,
he He actually
Got a
went to
picture
high
of him
school.
in my bedroom.
I'm not going to mention his name. The guy went to high school. I went to high school with him, and he came up to me one time at a reunion. He's like, "Mark, do you know where Jesus is?" I'm like, "I think he's getting potato salad. Give me like 10 minutes. I'll see if I can find him." But he's like, "You need to find Jesus." I'm like, "I think I'm doing okay, man." But back in the day, you were a maniac. Now you need to find Jesus.
Yeah.
He was trying to tell me that Jeffrey Dahmer, who ate little kids, if he says, "God, listen, you know what? I made a mistake. I ate those 4 boys. My bad.
Well, it's not just what you say. As a true Christian, if you truly you ask for forgiveness, it's because you found yourself repenting what you did. Like you actually felt sorrow. I learned that about myself years ago. Coming back from elementary school, I got into a fight with this kid. Right, I was like, I don't know, whatever, and I punched the kid in the nose, and I know I broke it. I was just in elementary school, and all I kept thinking about is how bad I felt that I broke this kid's nose. You know what I mean? And my dad was like, "Well, you feel bad about it. That's good because it means you're not a criminal. You're not some asshole. Just so being forgiven means you take it. You're like, oh, I shouldn't have done that, and then you really ask for. You're not just asking forgiveness because you can get
But there's certain things. There's got to be it's got to be something there. There's certain. Listen, punching somebody in the nose and murdering somebody or touching a child are 2 different things.
Listen, you do your time. That's what the court systems are for. You do your time, and who knows? Like Hinckley has been deemed non-threatening. He just wanted to kill Reagan. Reagan's dead. If he goes to his gravesite, he could sit there and curse them all.
You know how many people they deem non-threatening and they come out and they murder and rape at the minute they come out?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Well, I
think we get too many second chances in America. I think you should be the righteous person. Listen, there's things. Everybody makes mistakes and everybody does dumb shit, and I'll be the first one to admit it. But we're talking about something at another level. That's all we're talking about.
I just believe in existentialism. I think people have the ability to change their true essence, at any moment, and people can learn. Like, listen, one way or the other. If you're on your deathbed and you feel sorrow for all the shit you've done in your life, there's a seat in the kingdom of heaven for you. I believe.
Well, the reason why you believe that sorrow is because you're at your last resort.
No, there's a difference if you're doing it because
before you're on your deathbed.
There's a difference if somebody says, "Oh, if I hadn't done that, I would have done." It's all if it's conditional, no. But if you feel true sorrow for what you did, that's what real forgiveness. You don't have to ask, "Can I have forgiveness?" Asking forgiveness is basically when you realize what you did was wrong, and then you recognized in the eyes of God. And everybody turned to page 14 and.
We have a slight different opinion on that, which is good, which we need to have every once in a while.
Mm-hmm.
I believe, there is things that you can overcome, little things you've done. But when you get into like serious stuff, I don't know. Hey, listen, you can do anything. Hey, listen, you can sniff little kids and become president. This is a great country. You can do whatever you want to do, man. Hey, I'll tell you, the weirdest thing that's happening, man, is the new dress code that all these athletes are wearing. Have you seen what some of these athletes are wearing? Cam Newton and Russell Westbrook. Russell Westbrook came to a basketball game with a dress and a purse. What the hell is going on? I remember athletes back in the day, Jim Thorpe and Pele and Mickey Mantle. You never see Mickey Mantle with a dress and a bouquet of flowers and a purse. What the fuck is going on? I mean,
it's the fluoride in the water. It's all that fluoride in the water, man.
I mean, how can you even respect the guy that comes in with a dress? I got to play against this guy. I mean, it's just getting really, really weird, man. Like the whole thing is getting weird. Rodman. I think Rodman started it. Eric just popped in, but I think he's right, man. I think Rodman started this whole weird thing.
Yeah.
But I remember athletes when we grew up, man, we used to watch the strikers play and all that. They wouldn't come in dresses and wigs, and it's just getting really weird, man. It's getting weird.
I could care less what they're, listen, I mean, when it comes to fashion, because it's like anything. If you say something, people are going to respond a certain way. If you wear something, you're actually putting yourself out there. So it's somewhat respectable and that somebody has the guts to wear. I mean, if a guy wears a dress, I remember like when I started wearing pink shirts in high school, the girls were like,
next week, why don't you wear a dress next week? Have the guts to do it.
Yeah, I'll wear a dress. I'll wear a dress. I mean, I get so fat, some of my shorts look like dresses.
Oh, that's funny. So now the richest person is no longer Bezos. It changes. It seems like every so often, every like 10 or 15 years, or not even less, the last couple of years, it's changed 3 times. But now it's Elon Musk. I think Bezos' wife has a lot of to do with that because she's probably number 3. Bezos is 2, and she's probably 3 now. But Musk is now the richest man in the world.
That's right, and I love Elon Musk. He's an iconic person. And you know what? Because Amazon stock had fallen quite a bit, so that's a reason why Bezos' net worth has fallen. and Tesla stock has been rising. So that's a big difference too. Those guys are right at the top.
I think electric cars are going to be very hot very soon. I mean, they're becoming very popular already, and I think with gas prices, coming up a little bit, I think it's the new fad. And
they're fast as shit. You see the videos on TikTok and on social media where they got the Tesla Plaid like just blowing a Mustang, a Corvette, all these cars out just blowing their doors off.
And how cool is it that you don't even have to pay attention to the road anymore? It does everything for you. You're like, eat my sandwich, brush my teeth, shave. You can do everything in the car now. The car is it's like, who's the guy Hasselback? Remember, you had the car that drove everywhere? We got that now, man. We have it.
I know. Listen, there's no reason now that women should not be willing to do roadhead. When you're in a car. I mean, nowadays we're getting to the point where you can get roadhead now. I mean, thank God for that. Somebody says, what are you so happy about when it comes to Elon Musk? Well, roadhead, baby, roadhead. The thing with these electric cars, it's all about distance, right? And the charging stations and being able to have that infrastructure.
They're everywhere now.
I mean, I wouldn't mind getting an electric car just for my neighborhood, right? Like just to have around the house and do that. And have
they're not that you can get one. They're very affordable.
Yeah, and I think the government's offering you some sort of subsidy, like they used to when they first came out. They used to give you like $10,000 subsidy if you bought an electric car on your tax return, which is
they're
huge.
becoming, and they're nicer now. Before, when you had an electric car, it was like a little box with like 2 seats in it. But now they're actually nice, and now you can get a luxury a car now. It's a little different than it was in the last couple of years. So we'll see where that goes, man. Good for Elon Musk, man. We'll see what happens. Good for Elon Musk, and I'll tell you who it's bad for right now. You know who it's really bad for?
Oh.
Kelly. That guy is not doing well right now. I don't know who's doing worse, R. Kelly or the porn guy, the hedgehog, Jeremy.
Oh,
Jeremy,
Jeremy,
bad. And the reason you're not hearing much about Kelly, I mean, you're talking about a guy that did a lot worse than Weinstein, and a lot worse than Epstein. But he's not an Epstein.
I don't know about Epstein. I don't know about Epstein. Epstein had a lot. I mean, they're pretty up there. They all with youngins.
You get difference? I'll tell you the difference, okay? And they're all scumbags, so I'm not defending any one of the three, okay? But Epstein and Weinstein, they had controlled the women that did it. They did it because they wanted to and they wanted to get paid, okay? And that's what it is. If you watch all those documentaries on it, they were never forced to have sex. Maybe Weinstein a little bit more, but definitely not Epstein. Epstein fucked up because he had underage girls, and that's where he fucked up. But this R. Kelly person, he kidnapped people. He wouldn't let people leave the house.
Yeah.
He's like, you leave, I'll kill you. I mean, a lot different. And the mothers tried to get the daughters out of there, and they couldn't get them out of there. I mean, we're talking about like Rick James kidnapping, like people in the basement, tied up in the basement shit. So
there were people that were hiring professional security people to actually go and help their daughters or get their daughters back.
Yeah. I mean, I did get a chance to watch this. I've been watching a lot of cool series on Netflix and all that. I'll tell you which one I did watch, which not to get off R. Kelly, but I watched the one on Bruce Jenner, man. It was actually pretty good. I didn't want to watch it because I thought it was kind of stupid. I'm like, I don't want to watch this stupid show. And my girlfriend's like, try it. Let's just watch it. It was nothing else going on. And I put it on. It's pretty fascinating, man. It was
I felt the same way. I felt the same way to watch my first tranny porn. I'm like, I don't want to watch. All right, I'll watch it.
Hey, the second one was better, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, the second one's always better.
Hey, it's funny because I thought it was going to be the same way, like you're saying. I was going to talk about, but this dude was a stud, man. He was an athlete in every sport. He was the starting running back in college. He was a linebacker. He played baseball. He played tennis. He raced motorcycles. He raced cars. He was like a stud. He was an incredible athlete, and he just had these feelings, man. And I always thought. For me, I didn't know, you got to watch the show, but I thought it was all for show. I thought maybe he was part of the Kardashians and he wanted more. I mean, that's a pretty big thing to do for show. You cut your dick off.
It's pretty good.
Hey, I'll show you who I am. But listen,
he was found guilty. He was found guilty of manslaughter on 2 different events.
Exactly. And no, that's the joke about that. I heard a funny joke with that too, because they said Bruce Jenner, that's how bad women drivers are. Bruce Jenner, as a man, never killed anybody in 50 years, becomes a woman 6 months later, kills somebody driving.
Starts getting some estrogen in his system. Exactly. It's killing somebody behind the wheel.
But it was actually interesting because he had a lot of demons, man. I didn't realize the demons that man had. I mean, he had hot chicks. He had anything he wanted. And they said when he was 11 years old, he would be dressing in dresses. He'd be in the closet wearing his mom's clothing, and he couldn't figure it out. And he said the reason why he was so good in sports is because he was trying to prove to everybody what a man he was. So he said the reason, it's pretty interesting. Doug, you'd actually like it. It was pretty good.
Yeah, proving it to himself probably in the beginning. It was probably. fight these feelings.
Yeah. It's got to be a tough thing. I can't imagine. I mean, I love being a man. I mean, I can't imagine not being a man. The shit that women go through. I think about it. If men had babies, we'd be extinct. The first time a man had a baby, like, fuck this. I ain't never doing this again. You know? Exactly. You know, so thank God we have women, but I could never be a woman. I don't understand people that, I mean, I just don't understand it, man.
And you'd be an ugly woman, dude. I mean, you would, I mean, like me, I'd probably be a hot, like other woman, but you'd be an ugly, like, I mean, dude, you would be like,
you look like Rosie O'Donnell.
No, I'd be a hot Rosie O'Donnell. Okay.
Yeah, I don't think there's such thing as a hot Rosie. Listen, man,
I would be that
as a woman. I dressed as a woman for Halloween. And, you know, for a bigger dude, I didn't look too bad. I looked okay, man. I'd actually, a couple drinks in,
you'd bang yourself.
Hey, I bang myself all the time, bro.
Mark's got a date with himself. He's dressing as a woman.
Hey, I dressed for Halloween as Blassie Ford. Remember Blassie Ford? I got so much shit over that. I had the tape on the glasses. Oh, dude, I got so much shit. People give me so much shit.
Everybody probably thought you were Garth from Wayne's World.
I actually look like that. So what's going on? What else going on? Talk to me.
All right. Well, you know, we got some stories. You know, I find things amazing. Like people. Here's the thing. Now people are asking me, where do you get your stories with your podcast? I'm like, dude, do your own research, man. But here's interesting, considering we're close to Halloween. But a man accidentally stabs his 11-year-old while trying to scare him in a haunted house.
Did that kid die?
Well, I guess he did scare the kid. Yeah, he killed him. An actor at an Ohio fair's haunted house stabbed an 11-year-old boy in the foot while trying to scare him. I guess he didn't die if he got
not in the foot. But that sucks, man. That sucks. That first of all, I can't imagine what the father feels like. I mean, you know, you're just trying to be funny and do something funny, and then something serious happens, and it's like, wow, I'm such an idiot.
First of all, I don't know if I feel the kid was wearing Crocs. And he got his big toe stabbed through the Croc. You know, if you had a steel toe shoe, you little pussy, you wouldn't have had this happen.
And what kind of man wears Crocs anyway? Come on.
It was a child. You know?
No, that's a child. Okay, I take it back.
He walked up to my son. He walked up to my son and was holding the knife, and the intentions were to scare him. But my son responded to him by saying, "That's fake." Kid's a badass wearing Crocs. "I'm not scared," the mother of the stabbed boy said. The employee responsible was identified as 22-year-old Christopher Pogzelski.
Oh, so it was employee, not the father.
Yeah, of the haunted house. Yes.
Oh God, he's going to get some money. I don't know how much money a haunted house has, but you know, if it was a Bill Gates haunted house, maybe. But
I'm going to shut this bitch down. It's going to shut down anyway on October 31st. Yeah.
I would. Oh, I'll tell you what. If that was my son, man, oof, that'd be bad. I'd be there pretty pissed. I mean, who has a real knife in a fake haunted mansion anyway?
Yeah.
How do you have a real knife?
Really? Yeah.
I mean, it's stupid. That's just, I don't know what the hell they were doing. Was this Detroit? You know, maybe Detroit's a little rougher area. Haunted house there, a little Chicago, South.
The owner of the haunted house said it was just an accident.
No, it just actually almost cut my son's foot off. That's okay.
Yeah. I think any attorney will be able to win that case. So.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's no reason for that man to be carrying a knife in a play haunted house. Well, I guess he wanted to make it look real, but still.
Yeah, exactly. Here's a great story. Public urination at Glastonbury Festival in Ireland leaves traces of cocaine and MDMA in the river, posing a threat to the eels. That guy had that much cocaine in them that he urinated that came out? There were so many drugs at this festival. They all went to piss in the lake, and there's a bunch of eels now rubbing up on each other like, hey, I know you're a guy wheel, but...
Hey, what's up? What you doing? Ooh,
Nobody would tell. Nobody would tell. We're just two eels hanging out.
I mean, that doesn't even make sense because you would think how diluted it would be in the water, and so much sludge and shit goes in the water that's crazy. Like that doesn't even make sense, but I guess it's true.
It does, man. It does.
Did you see
found MDA concentration?
Was that on CNN? Was that on CNN? That story?
That is a CNN story. Yes. Because they don't want to be reporting about other stuff like the treasonous administration we currently have. But let's talk about eels that are having gay sex because of people peeing in a lake.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, that must have been some party, man. If you make eels horny, that's a good party. That's a good party.
And there's a bunch of people swimming in the lake, just gulping in the water, trying to get the excess.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Great drug though, by the way. If you want to be depressed for the rest of your life. Chinese man dies after downing a 1.5 liter bottle of Coca-Cola in an effort to cool down. I just gotta cool down. Give me that bottle. Listen, I've never been that hot and thirsty where I could drink a whole bottle of soda.
I can't drink. That's one thing I can't. Two things I can't drink quick. If you do it, you just gasp. Milk and soda. Like sodas, I drink like 3 ounces of Coke quick, and I'm like my whole body's like in flames.
You know, by
like
the way, that's the way you get rid of hiccups. It's a proven method of getting rid of hiccups. You get a glass of soda, and you put a straw in it, like a little, and you drink you suck the whole thing down. You get rid of your hiccups.
Did this guy get rid of his hiccups?
Yeah, forever. He's dead. So he's not.
But that's crazy, and it just goes to show you anything can kill you. You know, just anything. It's like here's a guy that died from Coca-Cola. You know what I'm saying? Anything can kill you.
Yeah. After 6 hours of ingesting the soda, 22-year-old experienced symptoms that included swollen stomach, which meant a lot of farting, and severe pain. Was rushed to the Beijing hospital. So,
wow.
Yeah, no pop rocks involved.
COVID, survived everything else, and the Coca-Cola killed him.
Yeah, he survived the Chinese regime.
Wow. But the Coca-Cola killed him. That's always a sad story when you hear stories like that. You see guys that go to Vietnam and they go through all these things, and they were putting like little metal crates and metal prods, and then they trip over something that 3 years later over a step and they die, and you're like, he's been through so much, you know.
And the Chinese government's like, see, it's an American product. They're killing the Chinese.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, Eric was telling me about the American Sniper guy. You're talking about the American Sniper guy. I forget his name, but he was talking about how that guy went through everything, you know, in the military, and then he came out and some guy just killed him. You know,
a fellow, I was a Marine, but a fellow military guy that went to a gun range because the guy was suffering from PTSD, so he was trying to help the guy. So they take him to a gun range.
Yeah.
You want to help somebody with PTSD? You want to go to a gun range? You go to a fucking carnival or a pinball arcade.
Exactly. Take them to Friendlies and get them a banana split. That's how you cheer somebody. Hey, let's shoot an AK. Listen, I'll be right next to you if you need me.
Yeah, listen, if you're suffering from PTSD, I'm not going to go to a gun range. Let's go to a strip club. Let's go to you know what I mean?
Hey, and women solve everything. There's I don't care if you have a lupus. I don't care what you have. That's the common cure for everything. Common cure for everything is women. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, the guy picked the wrong thing, and that's part of the problem, man.
Absolutely. I think so. Hey, there's gangsters in India. I mean, I think there are badder gangsters in India than now in Little Italy in New York. But in India, gangsters standing trial for
people.
Yeah, well, not if you ask about gang rape happening. Gangster standing trial for murder was shot dead in a courtroom by 2 rivals who were disguised as lawyers.
Wow.
I mean, imagine an Indian, hey, beach, but fucking shooting him dead in the middle of the courtroom, and that's gangster in India.
That is gangster, man. I mean, that's like that's like Jack Ruby style. Like, you don't give a shit. There's 9 cops around me. I'm still taking them out. You know?
It's a one-way ticket.
Exactly.
That's a one-way ticket.
Yeah. I would never have guessed that, man. I mean, you think of Indian people as very docile people. Like every Indian person I know, you know, is very docile. You wouldn't think of gangs. Like when I think of gangs, I think of Russians. I think of Italians. You know, you don't think of like Indians. You know, there's certain things you don't think of, you know?
Yeah. Well, you know, Polish mafia, Russian mafia, all that kind of stuff. But India, gang of India, you know, well, India has a problem. Remember they used to have those gang rapes, you know, situation. Yeah. Girl got gang raped in a bus. But the Indians they're horny people, man. There's a lot of people in India. There's
so many of them too. There's so many. I think that's the Chinese and the Indians are probably the most.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's going on. And I mean, aside from that, great story, a baggage claim. 2 guys basically get $500,000 from a baggage claim scam they were doing with the airlines. And they probably took a lot of my shit because I've left things of cologne, toothpaste.
Yeah. Did they catch the people stealing the $500,000 worth of stuff?
Yes.
Oh, good.
Pernell Anthony Jones, 31, and Kenner Lay Martin of Louisiana were accused of running a scam on numerous airlines, filing lost luggage claims. Yeah, I left my luggage. I lost my luggage. I had a laptop, a computer, 4 bars of gold.
Oh, so they were taking it that way. They were going in there and taking other people's luggage.
Well, they were just filing false claims that they had luggage and shit and getting money.
Getting luggage is got to be the easiest scam in the world because you go to the airport, they don't check tickets or anything. You grab any luggage you want. You get there early enough to grab everybody's luggage and leave.
Yeah. Yeah.
Until you grab the wrong person's luggage and he beats the shit out of you in the parking lot. But
Yeah.
you know, that's a chance you take.
That's why my luggage has a sign on it says "I suck cock," so no one takes my luggage.
That's another gay guy goes, "Hey, I do too," and he writes on your luggage.
Yeah.
Ding dong.
There you go. But that's all on my end.
And I'll be honest with you, we surpassed our 30 minutes, which we always do, man. We always have a lot to talk about, man. It's always fun, man. And hey, congratulations, Doug, all kidding aside, on what you have accomplished, man. You've come a long way, man. And I've watched you come a long way. I'm very proud of you, bro. Seriously, man. I'm very proud of you.
Bro.
You've come a really long way, man. And I know everybody used to give you shit in the beginning, and you tried something you've never done before, and you did a great job. And look at you, man. You made a finalist in Vegas, man. Very, very proud of you, buddy. And congratulations, man. What's your next endeavor?
This weekend, October 1st and 2nd. Well, if you're in Vegas, I'll be at Chunkless tonight, headlining the room. And on Friday and Saturday, I'm going to be featuring at Stir Crazy Comedy Club in Glendale, Arizona, this Friday and Saturday night, 2 shows each night. So come out. And then if my Florida friends, I'm going to be back in Florida on October 6th at Gadsby's in Fort Lauderdale. So come out to that show. And then I'll be in Fort Myers at Laugh-In next week, Thursday through Saturday in Fort Myers at Laugh-In Comedy Club.
Very, very busy schedule. You guys get a chance, come out and see him, man. It's well worth it, man. I've seen a lot of comedians, they're professional, very, very funny guys. So get a chance and definitely see him. Me, I do what I do all the time, man. I'm buying and selling, man. We've had a very successful week, man. We had a great buying event. Oh, amazing buying event last week. It went unbelievable. Bought a lot more stuff than I thought we'd buy, and just some really unique stuff we bought. A lot of gold. I bought a lot of gold this week. I like gold. That's another story we didn't talk about. Gold's going down a little bit, but don't be scared of it. Keep buying it. Your best bet, forget about gold. Brady, this week, Sunday, 8 o'clock. Do it. Trust me. This is going to be an easy one. I think he's going to tear him up. We'll see what happens, but I think so. Everybody, enjoy what you do, man. Keep hustling. Live life to the fullest, man.
Absolutely. Have the best. Be your best. Don't care what other people say. Follow your own road and do it right.
Exactly.